Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unboxed God, where we detox from religion and discover the God who refuses to fit inside the boxes we were given. I'm Tolu Sarah Jensen, and here we explore who God really is beyond fear, beyond formulas, and beyond everything we were taught to perform. If you're hungry for a real relationship with Him, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. So, still on the current book of navigating your journey from religion to relationship with God. And this is the start of book 5, chapter 1. Book 5 is the chains I thought were holiness. And the chapter 1 is breaking the chains of shame. Yes, letting go the voice that said you were never enough. Before I met the real Father, shame ruled my Christianity. When we look at book 4, it ended with a revelation I never expected. God is gentle, God is kind, God is safe. I never expected it when I was in religion, but now that I know Him, I expect Him to be a God that is gentle, a God that is loving, a God I can run to, that I can be safe in His arms. So, having known that, it's not enough to just consume those information. It's not enough to know that God is willing to have you so close to His heart. But what makes it valuable, what makes those messages valuable and useful in your life is actualizing them. Basically, actioning them. But knowing the truth and believing it are two different things. Because shame doesn't disappear just because you learn the right theology. Yes, God was speaking through me. Heaven was speaking to me, rather, through my friend, Matthew Robert Payne. And I consumed the data. I consumed the information. I consumed the knowledge. But even though this were the right theology, my soul, my spirit have been yearning for so long, the message came. And I was still thinking like I used to think before. I was still overwhelmed by shame. I still felt I'm unworthy. These are the things I still discussed with Papa this morning when Papa told me that Matthew doesn't feel that he's worthy of him. And I was telling Papa, I said, Papa, this is a continuous struggle for me as well. Shame still visits me often. It still reminds me of my past. And it still tells me that I am the past. But there needs to be a point that we have to let go of this shame. Because if not, we will be learning this new theology. You'll be learning the right theology, but you still be shamed down by shame. Because shame is a prison you can live in even while singing and singing worship songs, because that I've sang worship songs too. Oh, I love worship. But I was singing that worship, but it still wasn't having any positive impact on me, even though we said we are worthy of God. We are worthy of, we've got so many worship songs that we sing that lift God up, but it doesn't lift us up. We don't believe in it. And because we don't believe in it, do you think that will actually lift God up? Because you're singing a song, you're saying you love God in that song, but you don't even know who that God is. So do you truly love God? So shame is a prison you can live in even while singing worship songs. Shame is a voice that follows you even into the presence of God. Shame is the invisible chain religion calls holiness. It's sad. Yes, shame is the look at how that shame went with the prodigal son right to the presence of God. That shame followed him like brother and sister. Like, oh, do you think now that you're going to God, that you're going back to your father, do you think your father is going to accept you? After wasting, squandering all of those money, all of those resources that you got from your father, shame followed him home. And when it was well received, he could not add the two together because he was thinking he will be shamed, but he wasn't shamed. He was welcome. And this heavy weight of religion will frequently manifest in you through shame without even knowing. There is still religion that you're still plagued by. And because this bondage is quite invisible, it convinces individuals that they must earn their belonging and maintain constant perfection. And so many people are in heaven now and they still live in shame. And the biggest shame is the yoke of condemnation, thinking, oh, I don't deserve God. I have to fear him remotely. I have to distance myself from him because I have to continue to perform to what is love. It is really sad because this chain can hold you in bondage all your life. And when you look at shame, it was the first lie religion ever told me. I don't know about you, but that's what I knew. Religion didn't start by telling me God loved me. Religion began by telling me, be careful, he's watching. So I performed. I obeyed. I tried to be perfect. I tried to be enough. But no matter how high I climbed, the voice always whispers, you are still failing. God is disappointed. Try harder. Try harder. You can do better. Oh my God. It is so sad. But this is the reality of so many Christians. The message is delivered to us in a way that elevates shame in our life, in a way that makes us to see shame.
Recording in progress.
Sorry, I had to break in there. The shame still directs our life. And every time I miss a prayer when I was in religion, every time I sing, every time I struggle, I didn't picture a loving father running towards me. I picture a holy judge keeping score against me. And that's what shame does. It convinces you that God's love must be heard. Look at it. If you're someone addicted to masturbation, for instance, shame will make you feel that is you, that you're nobody. You cannot even discipline yourself to hold your sexual urge. But that is not you. That is the humanity in you. That is the flesh in you. And we need to start disconnecting ourselves from the things that we have done and in comparison to who we are in God. That we are not defined by the shame. And we need to let go of the shame that God has not defined us by. It's not easy because you've carried this burden of shame for centuries, for years that you've been alive. It's not just going to go all of a sudden. And this shame feels very spiritual because until you see what it does to your soul, shame pretends to be conviction, but it only leads to hiding. Shame pretends to be humility, but it only leads to self-hatred. Yes. And shame pretends to be holiness, but it kills the heart that tries to love God. So, conviction leads you to the Father. Shame leads you away from me. And religion has taught millions of Christians to run away from the one who can heal them. And this might be applicable to other religions as well. But how can you run away from the one that holds your life together? How can you run away from a loving Father? I want you to think about it. I've said it in the past. One of the most shameful things that happened to me growing up was bedwetting till the age of 16. It was very shameful, but I didn't have control over it. I wanted to stop, but I never had control over it. You want to stop your masturbation. You wanted to stop your addiction, wherever you're struggling with, but you don't have control over it. So why is it your shame? I was struggling with something that was biological, or maybe there was something that needed to be fixed in my body. I don't know. But my parents tried all possible best. I tried all the different ways. This never stopped. And imagine being the oldest child and your younger ones don't bedwet and you bedwet. Do you imagine the shame? But all of a sudden, it disappeared. What do you think took it away? God. So, I've seen people that have gone through this cycle of addiction, and when God takes it away from them, that shame still follows them, even though God has taken it away. I want you to imagine my daughter, even looking back now, my parents, seeing me growing up, knowing that I struggle with it, they wouldn't associate that to me. They would know that that was something that happened to me, but it wasn't something that defined me. But a lot of us, we've allowed our shame to define us. And everywhere we go, everywhere we knock, it goes with us. And how long are you going to continually hold on to this baggage of shame? How? Because for so long, you might have had to cling to God's approval every time. And because of that, you feel that if you fast, He will love you. If you pray, He will notice you. If you serve Him more, you will matter. If you sing, you needed to earn your way back. But I believe God tolerated me. He has tolerated you more than He enjoyed you. Yes, because you've not allowed your real self to be free in His presence. The day Papa told me, Tolu, I've been running after you, but you keep pushing me away. Maybe if I step back, you will run after me. Oh, that was the beginning of my shame getting knocked down. That day, it was like a bulldozer knocked out a big chunk of the shame. But there's still root in it that needs to be pulled out, because I still feel that shame sometimes. I'm trying to dust it away, but it's like it follows me. But I don't want it to follow me anymore. Because even when I was doing everything right, I still felt wrong. And burnout wasn't the tragedy. This connection was. I knew about grace, but I lived like everything depended on me. So, shame kept me from receiving love. One conversation with the Father has changed everything for me. Because, like I told you, when He said, "Why do you run from me? Why do you keep running?" And I said, "Because I thought I don't deserve you. I thought you'd be disappointed in me." And replied, "I don't go anywhere when you struggle. You are the one who hides." That sentence was the beginning of my freedom, because I realized shame is not conviction. It is abandonment of self. It convinces you that God agrees with your low view of yourself. And what does the Father say about shame? He said, you were never meant to carry guilt longer than it takes you to run into my arms. I never once asked you to punish yourself. You are not your darkest moment. My love doesn't shrink when you struggle. You cannot disappoint me out of my affection. You are not what you do. You are not your action. Your identity has been made whole by my Son. You are loved. You are cherished. You are blessed. So when heaven keeps reminding you about your identity, my co-author Matthew wrote a book about knowing your identity in Christ. When you go back, that identity, you need to keep reminding yourself, because shame will continue to knock its door. But the more you refuse it, the lesser the frequency. But it will still be coming once in a while to come and visit. Let me see if my space is still available in his heart. And then if he's able to find just a little bit space, he will squeeze himself into you again. But you don't want that shame to continually be what stops you from entering into a deeper and intimate relationship with him. Heaven has no category for almost worthy. We are all worthy. We are all worthy. We are all of his children, and he sees us all worthy. And shame breaks when love finally gets in. Yes, the journey of healing begins here. You stop agreeing with shame. You stop defining yourself by struggles. You stop treating yourself like a disappointment. Yet, let God love you where you feel unlovable. This is what it means to grow. Yes, I'm letting God love me where I feel unlovable. And he's pouring his love on me, and I'm enjoying it. And when you allow God to love you, that is what it means to grow. It's not becoming better, but becoming honest. You are honest with yourself. You're honest with Papa. Not fixing yourself, but letting the Father hold the broken pieces. Not performing for God, but discovering he has always been holding you. When God tells me about my destiny in heaven, a lot of times I find it difficult to believe, because I felt I don't want him. And this is the biggest issue. Myself and my husband, we both experienced challenges of life, but he never lost his identity. I don't know how he did it. He never lost his identity. And that is one thing I really admire about him. But I have had to find my identity. And I'm still on a journey of finding myself. So the first break of the chains is shame kept me religious. Love is making me free. Stop being religious. Start being free. Book 5 begins with this declaration: I am not my mistake. I am his. I am not my performance. I am his. I am not my past. I am his. Remind yourself all over again, I am not my past. I am his. And this is the first chain to break. This is the beginning of true freedom. And this is how intimacy starts. So, always remember, religion says earn God's love. The Father says you are already loved. Religion says you must prove you are worthy. And the Father says you are my beloved. Religion says be ashamed. And the Father says be held. Are you going to allow him to hold you close? Are you going to let go of that baggage of shame that you carry everywhere? Are you just going to allow yourself to be loved by him? I hope this chapter has been a blessing to you. God bless. See you in the next chapter.